My name's Julia, and I help people find freedom in their minds and bodies. When I was little, I always struggled with food. I didn't have a day where I couldn't think about food, and it was just a symbol of unmanageability in my life. It was like my mind was so preoccupied with anxious thoughts, and food was my outlet at the time, food and exercise and relationships. And I never knew that I could have freedom from that. The pain, I would go home at night and just be so upset, even though I had all of these external accomplishments. And so when I recovered, I met someone who had brought me to a solution. I had never thought that I could have so much freedom. And I was working corporate 9 to 5, and I was doing all the dues, but I was like, why doesn't this feel aligned at all? And I started to see so many more people coming into my life, and they were telling me the same things that they were struggling with. And so I was like, I need to serve these people. There's like so much more than just going by the status quo. There's so many other tools, so many ways that we can incorporate our highest truth and our highest selves in our day-to-day life that people don't even know exists, and we can tap into a power greater than ourselves to help us through those moments. We don't have to do it on our own and keep white-knuckling it all the time. And so bringing people to that truth, to that spiritual solution that is lacking in everywhere I see. It's a mix of practicing faith in all my affairs and in trusting that the outcomes that are happening to me are serving me in my life. And it looks like giving up control. And that is really scary, letting go of things that I thought that I needed to be, or the ways that I thought that I needed to be. And there are ways that we can do that safely and with comfort so that it's not so scary anymore. But I think that a lot of people are afraid of letting go. They're afraid of, look what I built for myself. But that's what's hurting us. It's all the external pieces that we're holding on to that we are attached to. And sometimes we need to allow ourselves to surrender and to tap into that higher power. When I work with people, it's like, it's not me. It's spirit that intervenes in me. And so I'm just the conduit, the channeler, but it's really the spirit in them that comes out because spirit in me is speaking to them. And so when I coach people, it's not even coaching, it's just conversing and helping and serving. And yeah, it's just a beautiful relationship. Food for me was a way that I could get a sense of ease and comfort. So I see people doing this all the time, not just with food, but with relationships, with overworking, with drugs, with alcohol, with, whatever it is. We're trying to find that connection within ourselves, and yet we look for it externally. We don't know that it's there. And so addiction is the absence of that connection that we have, that power inside of us. And if I didn't have someone who guided me on that process, I really wouldn't have seen that clearly. I just love transforming people's lives, right? When people light up, when people say, man, that helped me a lot. It's not about me, it's about allowing them to serve bigger and allowing them and empowering them to be their best selves, because it hurts me the most to see people suffering. And they come to me all the time saying, I'm hurting with this, I'm hurting with this, I'm hurting with this, and I feel alone. And it's like, we can allow ourselves to be a part of this conscious creativity, this conscious energy, this conscious uprising. And I will absolutely do my best that more people can be tapped into that power. My mission is to help people rise to their truest potential, and to allow families to be healed, to allow relationships to be healed, to allow people to heal themselves. That you're not alone. Don't ever feel like no one knows what you're going through. Even though your situation is unique, your pain is universal. And so don't be afraid to go there. Our pain is our greatest asset in transforming our lives. So if we can invite the fear, the pain, forward, we can tap into exactly what it is that's going to help us, right? The more that I tried to shove my pain down and resist, the less I was able to heal, right? And the more I was in all my addictions, the more I can allow what needs to come to surface, the more I can really have a mirror up in my face and be like, okay, it's time, I gotta face this. I helped her to see the energy at which she was doing all of those things, you know, and tapping into that higher power and how we can free ourselves. I helped her let go of a number of things. And she had a breakthrough, you know. She called me a couple months ago just to thank me. She's like, I can't believe it. Like, things are flowing, things are free flowing. I'm finding these opportunities. I'm moving my life into different places. And it was like opportunities were connecting for her in ways where before there was so much friction. It's like the pain comes to us in different forms, right? For her, it was in her body. She had physical pain. For me, it was a lot of emotional pain. And even in our work, you know, if we're not able to do our work, right, because of the unmanageability, it's like, what are we trying to do the school thing or the work thing for? It's like we have to be aligned in everything that we do. And so to help her be aligned in her purpose, I think that was, it was so beautiful. Now it's about building a tribe of people who want to heal and who want to express their creativity. And so I'm doing that as well in Toronto, where we're building these open mic platform events where people can just come and share their stories. And it's like totally divine medicine. It's like people heal on the spot. People are like, this changed my life. But it's because our pain is so universal. And so to give people that platform where they can do that, it just elevates everyone's healing by a different frequency. When I first recovered, I was going to AA meetings, even though I wasn't an alcoholic. And I was attending these meetings, and I was like, what was I getting out of it? It was people's stories. They would share their story, and I would share my story, because the pain was universal, right? It didn't matter that I had the eating disorder, they had the addiction, but it was all universal. And so to hear those stories and to see what people's lives were like I'm talking like heroin addict on the street, like homeless people who have tapped into a power greater than themselves and like transform their lives. I don't know why we're not telling these stories more. It's like, how do people not know about these stories? You know what I mean? And I ended up recording some of them on like a platform as well, on in like a mini podcast, so that people can hear these stories, because this is like soothing nourishment for the soul. It's how we're going to come together as a collective and stop hiding. You know, I used to hide in my bedroom. It's like, no one wants you to hide, right? We want to hear you. And I think that we've created a society where being authentic isn't truly authentic. Like, you know, when people post on social media, there's a little bit of, I'm trying to be someone. And I think that I just want to smash all of that. Like, I just want to like make that all come down, because it's in our truest essence and authenticity that we can just be real and heal. A lot of high achievers who on the external appear to have everything, but it's an internal aloneness. It's like an internal, I don't have anyone who gets it. And because people know that I get it, I get a lot of people coming to me saying, I've never told anyone this before, but I want to tell you what I'm going through. And, you know, because I remember like when I was first struggling, even my therapist, they didn't get it. They were telling me, well, why don't you just take a shower instead of binge purging? Or why don't you, take a walk? And I'm like, lady, like I've tried that shit. Like, how do you not get it? Right? And so I think it's important to work with someone who gets you, who gets what you're going through, not someone who's going to judge you in any way, shape, or form, because you cannot be fully honest and true to yourself if you feel judged in any way.